There are celebrities, there are legends, and then there is Michael Jackson, a man whose fame became so large that he ceased to be merely human in the eyes of the world.
Reports claimed that Michael even housed a large shrine dedicated to Diana Ross. In 1986, during Pepsi tour negotiations,
Diana Ross is showing me that Michael was a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and let's talk about it.
Michael Jackson said this. He wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, song come to his head. I gotta record it now, right now, because Prince gonna get it. He understood that we...
My childhood was completely taken away from me. There was no Christmas. Singers, when they sing songs, it's like a mantra. You repeat a chorus over and over and over.
They're also one of those families. And then they're steeped in their religion, which is different than your religion. And I mean, a lot different.
Creepy things found in Michael Jackson's home? Let's do this, because it's pretty weird. Real size...
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all pay. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly.
There are celebrities, there are legends, and then there is Michael Jackson, a man whose fame became so large that he ceased to be merely human in the eyes of the world. At the height of his career, entire cities shut down when he arrived. Fans fainted at the sight of him. News helicopters followed him everywhere. Children wanted to be him. Adults wanted to understand him. The media wanted to expose him, and the world never stopped watching him. Yet behind the fame was a lonely man carrying wounds that began long before he became the king of pop. This is the story of Michael Jackson, the good, the bad, the ugly, the genius, the tragedy, and the mystery. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29, 1958 in Gary, Indiana. He was the seventh of 9 children. The Jackson family lived modestly. Money was tight, dreams were big. His father, Joe Jackson, believed his children could become stars. But success would come at a price. Joe pushed his children relentlessly. Hours of rehearsals, constant criticism, perfection at all costs. Michael would later reveal that many of his deepest emotional scars came from those early years. The world saw talent. Michael remembered fear.
A lot of sadness about my past life, adolescence, and my father, and all of those things. It just made me very, very, very sad.
So he would tease you, make fun of you? Did he ever beat you?
Yes, he did. Yes. And I had pimples so badly, and it made me so shy. I used to not look at myself. I'd wash my face in the dark. I wouldn't want to look in the mirror.
Really?
And my father teased me, and I just hated it. I cried every day because of it.
Your father would tease you about your pimples?
He would tell me I'm ugly.
Your father would say?
Yes, he would.
By age 11, Michael Jackson was already a national sensation. The Jackson 5 exploded onto the music scene. I Want You Back, a BC, I'll Be There. Hit after hit after hit, America fell in love with the tiny boy possessing a voice far beyond his years. But fame was already beginning to isolate him. While other children played outside, Michael was working. While others attended birthday parties, Michael performed on television. His childhood was disappearing, and he knew it.
My childhood was completely taken away from me. There was no Christmas, there was no birthdays. It was not a normal childhood. No normal pleasures of childhood. Those were exchanged for hard work, struggle, and pain, and eventual material and professional success. But as an awful price, I cannot recreate that part of my life, nor would I change any part of my life. However, today, when I create my music, I feel like an instrument of nature. I wonder what delight nature must feel when we open our hearts and express our God-given talents.
Before Michael became the biggest star in the world, Diana Ross was already a queen. She was elegance, she was beauty, she was success. Motown connected Diana Ross and the Jackson 5 during the group's rise. Michael quickly became fascinated by her. She represented everything he admired. Many people who knew Michael believed Diana became one of the most important people in his emotional world. Not simply a celebrity, not simply a mentor, something deeper, a protector, a guide, possibly even the closest thing to a mother figure outside his own family.
Diana Ross fans and Michael Jackson fans, there are some people who theorize that your mom was actually kind of in a way the love of his life.
For years, the question has lingered. What began as a childhood crush, a 9-year-old boy idolizing Motown's reigning queen, slowly evolved into something far more complicated. By the 1980s, Michael Jackson and Diana Ross's chemistry felt undeniable. They flirted openly on television, embraced at award shows, and Michael publicly declared his love, even saying he hoped they would marry. But was there a genuine love story unfolding behind the scenes? Or was it a carefully managed narrative? Two global stars benefiting from the speculation. And if it was real, how did it unravel? There were rumors of obsession, stories of heartbreak, songs fans believed were written in her shadow. So what were they really? Mentor and protege? First love? Or simply two icons whose lives became permanently intertwined? Here's the detail. On July 23, 1968, Michael and the rest of the Jackson family pulled up in a Volkswagen minibus outside 2648 West Grand Boulevard in Detroit, the modest white bungalow known as Hitsville, USA, headquarters of Motown Records. Inside that building were the architects of black popular music, writers, producers, choreographers, and at the very top of that world was Diana Ross. By this time, Ross was 24 years old and already a superstar, having made history and broken countless racial barriers in popular music as the lead singer of the Supremes. Now transitioning into a solo music and film career, Ross was the label's most glamorous and marketable of stars. In contrast, Michael was just a 9-year-old kid, a singer in his family's band, who dreamed of fame and success beyond their hometown of Gary, Indiana. The mythology that followed, that Diana Ross discovered the Jackson 5, was largely a carefully crafted Motown publicity strategy. Research suggests that artists such as Gladys Knight and Motown executive Suzanne DePass were instrumental in bringing the group to Berry Gordy's attention. But from a branding perspective, attaching the Jackson 5 to the label's most established name gave the group immediate prestige. It wasn't subtle. Their debut album in 1969 was even titled Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5. It was a coronation by association, an open embrace from the former Supreme before they entered into the public eye. By the time the Jackson 5 exploded with their first single, I Want You Back, the foundation had already been laid. What began as a strategic association between Motown's biggest star and its newest signing quietly evolved into one of the most enduring and emotionally charged relationships of Michael Jackson's life.
So many people are now claiming that they discovered the Jacksons, and so on, but what was your relationship?
Well, actually, I think Berry Gordy discovered them at a step.
The boys came to Detroit for a showcase for Berry Gordy. And I remember them wearing these little green outfits and these hats, and they did a show, and we knew then that it was going to be something special.
When he started his career, I introduced them on their very first television show, which was the Ed Sullivan Show.
And I got an opportunity to introduce them on the Ed Sullivan Show, and the rest is just history.
And then I had my own television special at that time, and I introduced them, the Jackson 5, on the television special. I think I gave them an opportunity on my television specials to be introduced for the first to the American audience, and they were really young then.
You certainly have added a fantastic group to the musical scene as the talents go.
Well, if you're speaking about the Jackson 5, I don't feel that I've, added them. I think I just opened the door for them, and instead of them walking in, they ran in and trampled me as they were coming through the door.
We did a television special and so on, and I played with Michael.
On October 1st, 1969, as the Jackson family began relocating to California, Diana took her association with the young pop group seriously and acted as something of a mentor during this transitional period. Young Michael even moved into Diana Ross's Hollywood home for roughly a year, while his family secured permanent housing in Encino, Los Angeles.
And they came to live with me in California for, it seemed like just a few months, but I don't know how long it was there.
They were moving from their home into California, so they stayed with me for a while. Michael's very creative. And I took a special interest in him, and we were very close.
This is where the relationship moved beyond industry optics. Diana became, in many ways, a surrogate mother figure for the naive and impressionable Michael. She was like his own mother, warm, embracing, encouraging, yet like his father, disciplined, polished, and intensely ambitious. She retired early, kept a strict schedule, and approached stardom as both art and strategy. He was a gifted, hypersensitive child, suddenly thrust into an adult world of contracts, cameras, and expectations. She was the reigning queen of that world, elegant, controlled, adored. She took him under her wing and encouraged him. Michael observed and absorbed everything, adopting not only her personal morals and discipline, but also her stage presence, her authority, how she commanded a room, how people reacted when she entered it. He learned quickly how to become a compelling star himself. Michael reportedly called Diana Mama, and even jokingly referred to her as his girlfriend, a dynamic that they played up to on numerous television appearances together.
Is there another woman? I'd like to know. Is there another woman? Tell me, tell me. Well, don't tell me.
Get a hold of yourself, woman.
I'm trying to. Why are you leaving me? Why?
Well, for one thing, you've lost your je ne sais quoi.
What?
Your je ne sais quoi.
What's that?
I don't know, but you'll find it missing.
Michael's own mother, Catherine, would later recall that Michael idolized Diana even as a child, that he was, quote, in love with her ever since he and his brothers had been her house guests. For Michael, Diana Ross became the standard, even teasing his sisters, telling them, quote, you're not pretty until you start looking like Diana. As Michael grew up and out of child stardom, he came into his own, emotionally, musically, and career-wise, and Diana was always the benchmark, having established a successful solo music career and considerable success as an actress. She represented possibility beyond the group structure. She had eclipsed the Supremes and become a star on her own. And that same desire to branch out beyond his family was brewing inside Michael. When Motown Productions acquired the rights for the movie adaptation of the Broadway musical, The Wiz, and cast Diana Ross as Dorothy, she reportedly pushed for Michael Jackson to play the Scarecrow, even though he'd already left Motown by this point. Michael was thrilled. It was his first project outside of the Jackson family business, and career-wise, it opened him up to new opportunities to become an independent star of his own. Rehearsals began in July 1977, with filming starting in October at Astoria Studios in Queens.
How did you feel when you heard you got the part in The Wiz? And especially playing with Diana Ross?
Very happy. I love the play so much. I've seen it 6 times before I even knew I was going to be in it. I would talk to Diana on the phone. I say, you're going to film The Wiz next week, huh? She would say, yeah, next thing I noticed, I was in it.
Diana and Michael had a relationship in the past from their Motown days, and it shows in the film the kind of warmth and friendship between the two, which was very important to the relationship between Dorothy and the Scarecrow.
His energy and my energy were very much the same. He was a little kid that worked very hard and loved to stand up in front of someone and perform. And I was fairly successful at that moment. And again, it's just the same as the Supremes. Michael Jackson began to be the focal point because he was so outstanding.
Away from his father's controlling presence, Michael Jackson was able to experience newfound freedoms. He pounded the streets of New York, sat in the audience of Broadway shows, and attended parties at Studio 54 with a cohort of showbiz friends. Continuing her surrogate mother role, Diana guided Michael as he explored the New York scene, formed adult connections, and embraced new freedoms outside of just work for the first time. In the process, they developed a deeper, more adult connection. In a Rolling Stone interview, she said, quote, "Michael spends a lot of time, too much time, by himself. Michael has a lot of people around him, but he's afraid." Certain accounts suggest their relationship intensified during this period, progressing from a nurturing one to something more intimate. According to J. Randy Taraborelli, Michael's biographer, Diana and Michael would attend parties together and then end up at Michael's New York apartment. One assistant reportedly said he had struggled to reach them one morning because they were late for filming, only to discover Diana had stayed overnight at Michael's apartment. Later, she was allegedly overheard telling friends, quote, "Well, I'll tell you one thing, Michael definitely isn't gay." When questioned separately about whether anything had happened between them, Michael replied, quote, "You'd have to ask her that." Diana reportedly said the same in reverse. There was ambiguity, and that ambiguity fueled wider intrigue. According to Michael's brother, Jermaine, his childhood crush developed into a teenage infatuation and something more mature, later writing, quote, "They only became close when Michael came of age. I know Michael has always loved Diana from when he was a small boy. He knew he wouldn't be able to act on his love for her until he became an adult."
When he spent time with Diana Ross with The Wiz, he always had this admiration for Diana Ross when he was young. And I think it got to a point where he really loved her and he really liked her, still to this day. And she was just this dream for him. And he had this ongoing just fascination for her. He loved her.
After Michael Jackson's 1979 album Off the Wall established him as a rising solo star, Diana's openness about their special connection only amplified the narrative around them. In 1981, she told Ebony, quote, "I'm crazy about Michael and I love him a lot. He's a very gentle, wonderful human being, one of the special ones in this universe. His aura is only about love." Having left Motown Records and signed with RCA in 1980, Diana Ross released her first lavishly produced network television special, Diana, the following year through Diana Ross Productions. Filmed at Inglewood, California's 17,500-seat Forum Arena, the special featured an appearance from her longtime showbiz confidant, Michael Jackson. Diana introduced him not simply as a guest performer, but as the talent, my baby Michael Jackson. He later appeared again during the program, performing their duet from The Wiz, Ease On Down the Road, as well as one of his own solo hits. Throughout the special, the two former Motown stars displayed deep affection and an open flirtation. On stage, their physical chemistry was obvious. Prolonged eye contact, hand-holding, laughter that felt unrehearsed. During a mini-interview segment built into the special, Diana turned to him and said, quote, "I knew you were going to be a star. I really did. What I didn't know is that you were going to get so sexy." The audience roared. Michael blushed, smiled shyly, then motioned toward her and asked the crowd, quote, "Don't you guys think she's sexy?" It was playful, but it wasn't accidental, and it fed directly into years of romantic speculation. By 1981, Michael was no longer a child protege, but now finding his feet as an adult artist, poised, controlled, and visibly influenced by many of the performance cues he had once absorbed from Diana herself. He had become increasingly image conscious, and both stars understood that a bubbling romantic connection could benefit them both professionally. Much like the carefully spun narrative of Diana discovering the Jackson 5 had once served them years prior. For Diana, having left the safety of Motown, which had carefully shaped her stardom for nearly 2 decades, it was crucial to present herself as vibrant and relevant to a new generation. Her playful flirtation with a young, hugely popular star like Michael achieved 2 things. It positioned her as still vital, desirable, and culturally current, and it also revived the warmth of nostalgia for audiences who remembered their earlier television moments together when Michael was just a child. For Michael, he was still in transition, carefully crafting a solo identity and managing public perception. Their overt flirtation helped distance him from his child star image, strengthening his association with an established music icon like Diana Ross only reinforced his credibility outside of the Jackson 5. The move also helped suppress more intrusive speculation, particularly around his sexuality. At 23 years old, after more than a decade in the spotlight, Michael had never really been publicly linked to women, while record executives often preferred their male stars to appear unattached, preserving the fantasies of young female fans. It was still important for Michael to be seen as desirable by other women. The dynamic with Diana allowed that image to develop in a way that felt controlled and safe. Her flirtation was perceived as harmless, largely due to their age difference and their long history together. The connection felt playful rather than predatory. And throughout it all, there remained an undertone of mentorship. Diana still carried herself as a maternal figure, presenting Michael almost as her greatest success story, the star she had helped usher into the world, even as he now stood beside her as an equal.
We did a movie together, and since then, he's just had blockbuster success with his album Off the Wall. Ladies and gentlemen, my baby.
Do you plan to cut an album with Michael Jackson soon?
Oh, Tanya, I would like that a lot. Michael and I, have been friends since he was really little kid, and he's doing such extraordinary things writing. Right now he's doing an album or writing a song with Paul McCartney, and he's supposed to be coming in town soon, and I would like that.
A new album, some superstars playing on that, Michael Jackson, of course, Bee Gees. How did this collaboration come about?
Michael and I, we're in love, and there's nothing to do about it, there's nothing to say. So,
Although publicly, it seemed that Diana was happy to play things up for the cameras and fuel press speculation. For Michael, their flirty exchanges appeared to carry deeper meaning. Rather than keeping things light or ambiguous, he often blurred the line between fantasy and reality. In a December 1982 Ebony interview, Michael was unusually direct when asked about his dating life. Quote, "Ebony, any black ladies in your life?" MJ, "Sure, but you wouldn't take me seriously." Ebony, "Try me." MJ, "It's Diana Ross. I love her." Ebony, "You're not saying you'd like to marry Diana Ross, are you?" MJ, "Oh yeah, I'm saying that." He doubled down 2 years later. In 1984, he told Focus magazine, quote, "Of course, one of my best friends in the world is Diana Ross. Sometimes I tell her I'm going to marry her. Our relationship goes on forever." Michael wasn't coy. He wasn't vague. He was persistent. For Michael, at least, their light flirtation had clearly crossed over into something more serious in his mind. Whether it stemmed from his inexperience in romantic relationships, a longing for human connection, or simply the intensity with which he formed attachments, he may have interpreted Diana's natural warmth as something more intimate. Her teasing, affection, and their closeness, in his mind, may have signaled something deeper than just friendship. Michael later reflected on their bond with striking intensity. In his autobiography, he described Diana as, quote, his mother, sister, and lover, all combined in one. Language that reveals just how layered and emotionally complex the attachment had become. For Diana, the realization that Michael's feelings may have shifted into something more substantial must have been deeply difficult to navigate. She empathized and clearly understood how emotionally fragile he could be, feeling naturally protective of him. Rather than publicly rejecting or embarrassing him, she subtly reframed their connection, presenting it as maternal, mentoring, protective, rather than romantic.
Tonight is a night for film. What are your plans in film coming up?
We're gonna do something soon. He's gonna play my son.
How do you feel about that?
It's great.
Besides, during this period, Ross was already involved in a fairly public relationship with Kiss bassist Gene Simmons. That being said, Michael and Diana maintained a close public association. Jackson wrote and produced Ross's 1982 hit single Muscles, a song originally intended as an R&B answer to Olivia Newton-John's massive hit Physical. They appeared at award shows together during the height of Michael's Thriller mania, and during this period, Diana accepted a ring from Michael, wearing it publicly at Motown 25 and the 1984 American Music Awards. They were not formally engaged, but the symbolism mattered. The ring may have been Michael's way of laying claim to her. This is where Michael's tone may have been also shifting, from a romantic pursuit to something edging closer to fixation.
We've shared many magic moments together, the early days and television specials, recording, and during the movie The Wiz. Well, you know, he's an exceptional human being, talented beyond his years, a dream in motion.
To me, Michael is brilliant, and he's just as a little boy growing into his talent. If he's grown from where starting to being a big success now, where will he be, you know, in the future? Then he went on to have his own career, of which he's very, very talented, and he became so very, very successful, just like skyrocketed.
One of my favorite people in the whole entire world is Diana Ross. She's been so special to me and has taught me so many incredible, important things, and I'm just so honored.
Beyond their continued association, the tabloid press became increasingly preoccupied on the idea that the Billie Jean singer was attempting to embody Miss Ross. Wild stories circulated that he was using female hormones to heighten his voice so he could sing more like her, and that he was visiting plastic surgeons with photographs of his confidant, gradually whittling down his features to align more closely with hers.
Great talent wasn't all Jackson and Ross shared. Michael, many believe, wanted to look like her, be like her, sound like her.
There are rumors that he changed his looks to look like you.
It's been said that Michael Jackson underwent plastic surgery to make himself look more like you.
I'm not like other guys.
I don't think so.
Is that true?
No, I don't think he has. No one's ever told me. He's never told me that. He perceives this makes him feel happy about himself, you know? I don't think he's trying to look like me. I do think he's quite beautiful.
I refuse you to insult Michael. He's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
I love him, and I don't like people making fun.
Reports claimed that Michael even housed a large shrine dedicated to Diana Ross. In 1986, during Pepsi tour negotiations, executive Clay G. Small described being shown a room in Michael's home. Quote, "Every square inch was covered with photos of Diana Ross. Hundreds of candles that Michael kept burning 24/7 to honor his friend. We were speechless." The implication was clear. Even after years of public shifts and personal setbacks, he had not emotionally detached. Diana remained someone Michael placed on a pedestal, part fantasy figure, part unfinished romance he still hoped might materialize. However, what happened next would permanently alter the dynamic between them and destroy Michael in the process. In 1985, Diana Ross and Norwegian shipping magnate Arne Næss Jr. announced their engagement. For Diana, it marked a new chapter, one centered on love, family, and stability. For Michael, by most accounts, the announcement was emotionally devastating. He was invited to the wedding, but canceled at the very last minute. In his autobiography, Moonwalk, 1988, he expressed his thoughts directly. Quote, "When I heard Diana Ross was getting married, I was happy for her because I knew it would make her very joyous. Still, it was hard for me because I had to walk around pretending to be overwhelmed that Diana was getting married to this man I'd never met. I wanted her to be happy, but I have to admit that I was a bit hurt and a little jealous because I've always loved Diana and always will." There was no playful tone, no showmanship. His own account felt candid, wounded. Even without a formal engagement, Michael had clearly internalized the possibility of a future with Diana. He loved her. He had hoped she might marry him, and her decision left him hurt. Although we don't know what private conversations took place between them, by the 1986 American Music Awards, a visible shift had occurred. Michael arrived with Elizabeth Taylor as his date, a symbolic move. Taylor had, by this point, become the dominant maternal and emotional protector in Michael's public life, filling a space Diana once occupied. Another cultural icon and mentor, but this time in the world of cinema. Just when Michael was focusing his sights on a movie career.
Okay, I love Michael Jackson. I do, always will, always have. However, I have to admit, during my search about him and Diana Ross, it's showing me that Michael was a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And let's talk about it. So in 1988, Michael Jackson bought a home and he named it Neverland. His famous home, Neverland. And here is the room inside of his home. And this room is dedicated to Diana Ross. It is a shrine room. Pepsi officials, they did a tour of his home and they said that he had pictures filled with Diana all over the walls, like at every angle. They said that there were hundreds of candles sitting on shelves, tables, on the floors, like it was candles everywhere. And guess how long he kept the candles lit? 24/7. Baby, that's witchcraft. And see, his brothers have always said that he have an obsession with Diana Ross. They can say it the nicest way they want to, but they have always said that he had an obsession with Diana Ross. And see, this obsession and this praise for this woman, a shrine room, it just shows you the effects of him being groomed by her. He said she was like a mother to him, a sister to him, and a romantic lover. I've never heard anyone ever say that, ever. Mind you, he's been under her wing since he was 10 years old and she was 24. So just imagine the mental damage that has done. And on my next video, I want to talk about, more of their relationship. But I just wanted to put this on a single video because, I feel like, I wanted to start this series off with just like making 1 or 2 videos. But then as I've been doing my research, I've been realizing if I want to talk about everything, I'm going to have to make separate videos, or else these videos would last for 10 minutes long. And y'all ain't got the attention span for that. So, hey. But yeah, so I will be making other videos. Stay tuned. This is allegedly, this is for TikTok entertainment purposes only.
Diana, hosting the show that evening, invited Michael and the other artists involved in USA for Africa's We Are the World. When Michael appeared, he seemed noticeably restrained and emotionally guarded around her, a stark contrast to the ecstatic embraces and playful chemistry they had displayed in previous years. There was no dramatic confrontation, no public fallout. But in typical Michael fashion, he appeared to retreat. The realization that their imagined future would never materialize, and that she was building a new life with someone she'd never even felt the need to introduce him to, seemed to extinguish his long-held belief of their deeply shared connection. Diana moved forward. She and Arna would go on to have children, balancing career and family life across continents. Michael, in contrast, entered a new era, hyper-focused on reinvention, control, and artistic dominance. He had already shed many figures from his past in pursuit of ultimate autonomy. Perhaps Diana was another influence that could not transition into the next phase of his life. When Michael released Bad in 1987, one track in particular raised eyebrows: Dirty Diana. Though lyrically the song centers on an obsessive groupie, speculation quickly emerged that it carried personal undertones connected to Diana Ross, written and recorded not long after her wedding. Rumors suggested the original lyrics were more explicit, reflecting Michael's heartbreak, and that Quincy Jones encouraged him to reframe the narrative publicly as being about groupies. That claim remains debated, but the emotional intensity of the song, its themes of seduction, manipulation, and betrayal, does sit uncomfortably close to the timeline. Besides, it remains an intriguing choice to name the track after one of the most significant and publicly associated women in his life. Although in the years that followed, the two once-beloved confidants grew apart as their lives moved in different directions, Michael's relationship with Diana remained a source of inspiration.
Since Dirty Diana chose to not be included in the Michael Jackson movie, let's talk about their strange relationship. Before I get into it though, fun fact, I am actually from the same county in Indiana that the Jackson family is from, Lake County. They lived in Gary. I am originally from Hobart, which is like maybe 20 minutes away from Gary, if that. And the Jackson family was a huge deal growing up. People would claim that they knew them or related to them, just any of it. Like, it was a big deal out in that area. People still go driving by where Michael Jackson grew up to this day. They will go to little old Gary, Indiana to drive past where Michael grew up. It's insane. Anyways, let's get into Michael and Diana. So for those of y'all that don't know this, because, you know, some people don't know, and then there's some old heads that they don't like to talk about it. They like to act like this never happened. They watch this all play out in real time, and they will still deny it and try to act like people are turning nothing into something when the signs were all there. Michael met Diana when he was about 9 years old, and she seemed to be infatuated with him from the very beginning. It definitely reminds me of Justin Bieber in the industry. However, Michael Jackson was way younger than Justin Bieber, and he had adults fawning over him, including Diana Ross. Let's watch this clip from when he was a child, and just note their interaction. Just pay attention. Like, she's like a mother figure to him. Call me crazy, but somebody that's a mother figure to me or a father figure to me, I wouldn't want them to refer to me as sexy. And did you hear how he said it about her? Sexy. It was the tone in his voice. It definitely seems like they had more going on than just mentoring. Seemed very much in love with Diana, like he even proposed to her. And she would never take him up on his proposal or actually like be with him, which hurt him because he had been groomed by her, allegedly. And so I think that he thought that he was going to be the man in her life, and was very heartbroken when she decided to marry the Norwegian business guy. Sources say that Michael was completely heartbroken that she married that man. And if you don't believe that he had a little... That award show where she gives kisses to Lionel Richie and is presenting Michael with the award, the way that he looked at her the whole night, you could tell that he was very upset. So after Diana married the Norwegian shipping air guy, Michael starts hanging out with Elizabeth Taylor. Diana don't like that, honey. And during one of her performances, she brings everybody on stage. Michael and Elizabeth Taylor come on stage. They're standing next to each other. And they're like talking to each other or whatever. And Diana literally like is on the microphone saying, Elizabeth, trying to redirect Elizabeth's attention to the song.
We are the world. We are the children. Elizabeth, we are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's stop getting. Sing along, would you? There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day.
She did not like Michael getting close to Elizabeth Taylor. Period. That's why I think that she did not want anything about her in the Michael movie. They don't even go over the times that she brought him to Studio 54. They took chunks of his life and decided, we're not going to put this in the movie at all. But those of us like me who remember and are informed and aware of Diana's grooming of Michael, we have not forgotten. Furthermore, now this is just my own speculation, y'all. Could Evan Ross possibly be Michael Jackson's child? Just my speculation. But to me, they share some similarities, including the way that they speak. But that's just my opinion. And also how Evan responded to Andy Cohen's question about Michael Jackson.
Diana Ross fans and Michael Jackson fans, there are some people who theorize that your mom was actually kind of in a way the love of his life. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, I mean, I heard it, yeah.
And do you have any thoughts on that?
That's just my speculation. Y'all know I love a celebrity conspiracy theory, okay? At the end of the day, though, Diana not wanting to be included in the Michael movie says a lot. And I think it's because she knows that she groomed him. She knows that it would not put her in a good light. And that's why she declined being involved in the movie, in my opinion.
Many fans believe Michael was deeply in love with Diana Ross, not just as a friend, not just as a mentor, but as the woman who occupied his heart for decades. Some describe her as his first crush. Others say she became a symbol of everything he longed for emotionally. Reddit people who study Michael's life often noticed something unusual. Whenever Diana Ross was mentioned, Michael's demeanor changed, his voice softened, his attention sharpened, his admiration became obvious. Whether those feelings were romantic or not remains unknown, but one thing is clear. She meant more to him than almost anyone else. One of the strongest pieces of evidence regarding their bond came after Michael's death. When his will became public, it revealed something surprising. If his mother could not care for his children, Michael wanted Diana Ross to become their guardian. Think about that. Out of every celebrity, every friend, every family member, Michael selected Diana Ross. That decision speaks volumes. People do not place their children into someone's care unless they trust them completely.
Despite the years and the distance, Diana's loyalty never appeared to wane. Importantly, she did not publicly distance herself during periods when many industry figures did, especially during speculation, ridicule, and controversy. Diana defended Michael consistently, but with grace. During his 2005 trial, Diana was listed as a potential defense witness. Though she ultimately did not testify, her inclusion speaks to continued association and trust.
And we were thinking also tonight, this kid has grown up in the business since tiny. I think it's hard to have a real normal life, and he's secluded, and I think he is very secure and very, he's got it all together being in the kind of position that he is.
Does it break your heart to see what's happening?
Yes, all the support. I saw the family on television the other night, and I sat there, and I just felt the pain, and I know they're trying very hard to pull together, and it's a family in trouble, and they need our prayers, for the right thing to happen, really.
I don't know anything about what's going on. Diana hasn't seen Michael since he was hospitalized in New York last month, but she hopes his split with his wife, Lisa Marie Presley, is not permanent. I'd like to see them make it together. I'd like to see them both happy.
How do you think the media has treated him?
Please, I can't go there.
No.
But I just think, it's such a painful subject. It's just so hard.
That's as much as Diana Ross has ever said publicly about the troubles of her longtime friend, Michael Jackson.
Can't do anything that, is not scrutinized, overly scrutinized. Don't you agree? Okay, I understand.
After Michael's sudden death in 2009, Diana largely refused to engage in posthumous speculation. She did not publicly dissect their past or confirm long-standing rumors. In that restraint, there was dignity. Instead, she issued a simple statement. "I can't stop crying. This is too sudden and shocking. I'm unable to imagine this. My heart is hurting. I am in prayer for his kids and the family."
No celebrity attracts conspiracy theories like Michael Jackson. For decades, people have accused him of being connected to secret societies, the Illuminati, occult groups, hidden Hollywood networks, industry power circles. The theories never stop. Some point to symbolism in his videos. Others point to elite connections. Others claim his level of success could only be achieved through secret influence. However, there is no verified evidence proving Michael Jackson belonged to an occult organization or secret society. Most claims remain speculation and internet theory rather than documented fact. That has not stopped the rumors and likely never will.
Michael Jackson said this. He wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, song come to his head. I gotta record it now, right now, because Prince gonna get it. He understood that we all got the same information available to us that's locked in this firmament. Listen, everybody here probably had this happen. You ever had this happen before? You were asleep. You thought you was up. You tried to get up, your body wouldn't move, right? Your body won't move. Your soul wasn't back yet. Yeah, you glitched, right? Until everybody realizes that this is not real, they gonna keep coming back here. But let me tell you the problem. Because, and I don't want to say this because it's going to scare a lot of people, right? But remember, God said you have free will, right? And remember I told you death is fate, right? But remember I told you got free will. So remember I told you, Jesus said, if 3 people in the same room believe, what's going to happen? This stuff going to happen. Now the whole world get to believe in death. Guess what's going to happen? Death going to event itself. right? So right now we live in a parallel universe. And people think like, oh, it's parallel. I'm gonna tell you it's parallel like this. It's parallel through the mind. You could be sitting right next to me. How many times you sat next to a person, you saw something happen, they saw something totally different than what you seen? How many times did that happen? So right now, we all live in a parallel universe, but everybody won't see it. It's a conscious level game. But conscious is not from thinking. The brain has no IQ. It can't. It's a receiver. You get smarter by cleaning your vessel. Right? That's how you get smarter. IQ is a lie. You should have known that when they told you the dolphin had more brain power than you. You just said, you stupid. Because how the dolphin gonna have more brain power than you? Right? You should have said, you stupid. Right? The brain don't have an IQ. The heart don't pump blood. That's what they tell you, that everything they tell you is backwards. Right? Let me tell you so you know. Your heart pumps energy through your body, frequencies that come in through your head that they call a brain, and so you have an IQ and you don't got one. Everybody the same smart.
Singers, when they sing songs, it's like a mantra. When you repeat a chorus over and over and over. So when a kid hears a song and he starts singing that chorus over and over and over, then you start to hear it in the alpha state into the subconscious mind. So you start to become the song or become what you're saying.
You know when Michael Jackson woke up at 3 a.m. and he had this idea for the song and he told his manager, yo, we gotta go to the studio, I need to record this song. And his manager was like, no, it's okay, we can do it tomorrow. And Michael was like, no, if we do it tomorrow, Prince is gonna record it. Why did he say that? Because he knew that ideas, you don't come up with ideas. Your logical mind doesn't come up with ideas. He knew that ideas are like frequencies on radio stations, and as soon as you line up with a frequency, you receive those ideas. So if you want to have better ideas, you meditate, and that's why you follow your excitement with no insistence on the outcome, because if you follow your excitement just for the fun of it, you raise your vibration. And you're on the highest frequency where you receive $1 million ideas.
They're also one of those families. And then they're steeped in their religion, which is different than your religion. And I mean, a lot different. I think Michael Jackson is proud of the Michael movie. I have no idea why you'd even watch it. They're also one of those families. And then they're steeped in their religion, which is different than your religion. And I mean, a lot different. I like Paris Jackson too. I think she's very unique. People keep saying, you know, I'm sick of people saying this. I don't care how she arrived at Michael Jackson's house. I don't care how that happened. That's her father. Like, people got to stop saying that. People got to stop fucking saying that. Because however Michael chose to have his children, that's his daughter. The level of shit I hear is so ignorant. That's his daughter. Are you saying adoption doesn't count? Are you saying that? Is that what you're saying? I don't care how she got there. He said, this is my daughter. And since she was born, that's her father. That's her father, period. Good, bad, and ugly, it's her father. And she deserves to be respected as his daughter. It's so annoying what people say. Yes, exactly. I hope she does win. I do. I do hope she wins. It is her dad. It is her dad. It's whoever.
The biopic of Michael Jackson has been released. His nephew, Jafar Jackson, who is the son of Jermaine Jackson, played the pop star. People have shared their opinions about this film. While some have praised it as a work of art, others feel otherwise.
Before he became a global icon, Michael was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. As his fame grew, conflict emerged between his artistic expression and the expectations of his faith, the supernatural imagery, the music videos, the fantasy themes. Eventually, Michael drifted away from the religion he grew up in. Many researchers believe this created a spiritual conflict that followed him for much of his life. He appeared to be constantly searching for meaning, searching for identity, searching for belonging.
Accusations, and I wanted to take a second to show you some actual evidence, right? And I want you to ask yourself.
I got tagged in that video like a lot, and a lot of people want me to address like the things that were found during the Neverland raid. So, hi, I'm a Michael Jackson historian. Let's talk about all the things that were confiscated from the Neverland raid. So I just want to start off by saying that this guy is not like exposing the true story here. I mean, this is a list of material that has been publicly available for years. He also clearly does not know like what he's referring to. He's just reading the list. I actually do know what this material is. So first off, Boys Will Be Boys, containing photographs of boys under the age of 14, full frontal. This book is personally inscribed by Michael Jackson. So this is Boys Will Be Boys and The Boy, a photographic essay, both of which are art books, photography books. In particular, Boys Will Be Boys is a photo book documenting the summer of a group of boys living in America in, I believe, the 60s. This is not a book of just full frontal after full frontal. There's all kinds of pictures in this book. I mean, it's them playing tag and using slingshots and climbing trees and all of this stuff. And the personal inscription is actually just written on the inside of the cover. It says, "Look at the true spirit of happiness and joy in these boys' face. This is the spirit of boyhood, a life I never had and will always dream of. This is the life I want for my children, MJ." Same thing with The Boy, a photographic essay, black and white photos of boys. In Michael's 2005 trial, it had actually been revealed that this was a gift from a fan that says, "To Michael from Rhonda." And most importantly, Michael's fingerprints were shown to have never even touched the book. This was a gift from a fan that was left in a box. Michael had never even opened it. We're speed running, okay? A photograph of a boy believed to be Jonathan Spence. I'm sorry, one, you do not know who Jonathan Spence is. He's acting like believed to be Jonathan Spence. You do not know who Jonathan Spence is. Jonathan Spence is a family friend of the Jacksons. But most importantly, this is a part of a way bigger scandal. So there was an article written that said, "Raid turned up photo of boy," okay? This was a huge deal in the media. This is incriminating evidence, except for the fact that this had been addressed in court. Michael Jackson defense team has learned that information is circulating throughout the media regarding alleged photographs supposedly seized from Mr. Jackson's residence. That information is false. The prosecution has confirmed that it is false. There were no photographs, no child pee anywhere as claimed by Celebrity Justice and their sources close to the investigation. This is not a list of confirmed material. This was a list of submitted evidence. Evidence that the prosecution wanted to be considered in the trial. Pretty much all of this was not considered viable evidence because it was either legal art books which contained 1 or 2 photographs that had nudity in them, or 2, they didn't have Michael's fingerprints on them. It's important to note that Michael Jackson was a serial hoarder. The investigation photos showed that his house was often left in disarray. This is a picture of his office. Michael owned over 10,000 books. Again, just a complete hoarder. And like Michael's lawyer, Thomas Mesereau, said, you could go into any house in America and find the same evidence that you found in Michael Jackson's home. You could go into millions of Americans' homes and find a copy of It. It famously has one of the most graphic scenes involving children to ever be written in a legal book. But anyone who owns It is not an abuser. And then he pulls up all of this stuff. All of this, by the way, is like legal adult pee. These are more art books that happen to have nude photographs of adults in them. Again, more examples of just adult pee. And his whole argument here is the same argument that the prosecution team took up, which is that, well, Michael is using this as grooming material. All of these magazines and DVDs that Michael owned, well, that was just grooming material. So by that logic, the grooming material that he used to give children, which only had his fingerprints on them, did not have any children's fingerprints on them. That stuff is the grooming material. But then the stuff that he actually wants, which is all of those art books and photography books, are the things that don't have his fingerprints on them. And then he says something ridiculous, which is like, and these things were found in locked filing cabinets. He's literally questioning why an adult man kept his pee locked up. And he's like, this guy's having children sleep in his bedroom and he's got this stuff in there? Yeah, locked up. this is also just more examples of the things that were found in Michael's home with his fingerprints on it, and only his. Obviously, the biggest question is always, was there any CP found? And it's like, well, no, because if any of that had been found, that is illegal in everywhere in the United States. It would have resulted in immediate imprisonment. And then this was also a very misleading one. There was a lot of things that had been put forward as homoerotic material. This homoerotic material was actually material of 2 adult consenting women. So a grown man had lesbian-themed erotica, and it was being submitted as evidence of abuse against children because it was homoerotic. And talking about all the things that were found, Michael's lawyer said, Mr. Jackson will tell you he found these kids going through his briefcase, and he grabbed these magazines and locked them in this briefcase. Mr. Jackson will freely admit he does read girly magazines, Playboy and Hustler, but absolutely denies showing them to children. There is one piece of evidence, one magazine that was found to have Gavin Arvizo's fingerprints on it. And the reason for that is very simple. While it was addressed that apparently Gavin had been found going through Michael's bedroom with his brother Star, and these magazines were one of the things that he found, let's just say that's a lie, okay? Let's hypothetically say that was a lie. Let's throw that out. Even if that were not true, the magazine that Gavin was shown on the stand, he was given a magazine and asked if this was a magazine that Michael had shown him, to which he said yes. The only problem is that Gavin's official testimony is that the last time he had been to Neverland was in February of 2003. That magazine had come out in August. They handed the kid a magazine that came out after he was apparently abused, and then tested it for fingerprints to corroborate his story. I believe Tom Sneddon should be serving time in prison. You cannot falsify evidence and then just say, oh, we lost the case. He had that boy put his hands on the magazine in front of the grand jury. And the reason we know that is because the alert, Tom Mesereau, the defense attorney, got the jury transcript, and one of the grand jurors said, shouldn't that young boy be wearing gloves? Then after the grand jury, they sent it out for fingerprints analysis. So when did the boy get his fingerprint on the magazine? When the boy testified that he hadn't even been at Neverland for months when the magazine was published? Yet he claimed that was the magazine that Michael gave him in bed. Only in the Michael Jackson case is this an issue. A grown man was found with a very healthy collection. I'll just say, it was a lot, to be fair. A very healthy collection of adult pee. And the allegation was that he was using that to groom children, despite the fact that all of this was found in locked cupboards, cabinets, and briefcases with only Michael's fingerprints on it. I mean, one photo showed a drawer where an issue of Barely Legal sat next to a jar of Vaseline. That is probably the most straight, hetero man thing I have ever heard, and that was being used as evidence of grooming. But then art books, photography books, paintings that Michelangelo had done were being used as evidence of an interest in children, all of which did not even have Michael's fingerprints on them. And for this guy to sit here and be like, read the transcripts, oh my god, read the transcripts. I know you didn't read the transcripts, because if you read the transcripts, you would have not only seen the judge dismiss all of this evidence and then point out things like Gavin putting his hands on the magazine, you also would have read every other lie that the Arvizos got caught in. If you actually cared about victims and survivors of abuse, you would have read those transcripts, actually read them. You didn't actually read them. It's insulting. You're a grifter. You are purposefully trying to get attention as white knighting yourself about allegations that you know nothing about. Just because a movie came out does not mean that you need to capitalize off it. Actually do your research. Actually care about these allegations, and then we can talk.
No documentary about Michael Jackson can avoid this chapter. The allegations forever changed how the world viewed him. Some people remain convinced he was innocent. Others remain convinced he was guilty. The debate continues decades later. In 2005, Michael Jackson was acquitted of all criminal charges brought against him. Yet public controversy never disappeared. The allegations became part of his legacy, a shadow that still follows every conversation about him. Even after Michael's death, Diana Ross remained connected to his legacy. She defended his memory. She continued supporting his children. She honored the friendship they shared. Some believe theirs was one of the greatest untold love stories in entertainment history. Others believe Diana represented something deeper, not romance, not obsession, but family. A mother figure for a boy who spent his life searching for emotional safety. The truth is that nobody knows exactly what Michael Jackson felt about Diana Ross. Maybe she was his first love, maybe she was his hero, maybe she represented the childhood he never had. Maybe she represented safety, or maybe she was all of those things at once. What we do know is this. Michael Jackson spent his entire life surrounded by millions of people, yet very few truly mattered. Diana Ross was one of them. The alleged shrine, the will, the admiration, the decades-long friendship, they all point toward one undeniable fact. In Michael Jackson's private world, Diana Ross occupied a place that no one else could replace. And perhaps that is the greatest mystery of all.